The Graduate School Spotlight podcast features various academic programs that offer an advanced degree at Albany State University. Today's focus is on the graduate education degree, and my guest is Dr. Erica Decuir, Associate Professor of Education. How are you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I am an Associate Professor in the School of Education, particularly in teacher education, and I am also the program coordinator for middle grades education and secondary education programs at both the undergraduate and graduate level. I also have the pleasure of serving as a co-PI on the ASU Noyce Teaching Fellows program. This is where we recruit STEM career professionals to serve as STEM educators in high-need schools. And I'm the director of the Academy of Future Teachers, which is an undergraduate initiative to provide holistic support to education majors in their pursuit of their teaching career here at Albany State University. And I am very happy to be with you here today.
That's great. So what are some trends that you are seeing in graduate studies in the field of teacher education?
Many of the trends follow what we see in traditional teacher prep, which is a large emphasis on elementary education. So because elementary education is the biggest demographic in the field of teacher education, we also see them being the largest demographic in our graduate education programs. We also see at the graduate level an interest in curriculum and instruction, an interest in people pursuing advanced degrees so that they can remain in the system but become educational school leaders, such as instructional coaches, academic coaches, graduation coaches, assistant principals, and school leaders, as well as other school support staff. So we see not just those who are looking to obtain an advanced degree in education to remain classroom teachers, but we also see those who are interested in an advanced degree so that they can become teacher leaders in the school system and become support staff in curriculum and instruction.
So which programs have the highest enrollment in teacher education?
That is elementary education.
Yeah.
And in terms of earning the master's degree, we see the largest demographic being elementary education. Unfortunately, just as we see across the country, our STEM programs have the lowest enrollment, but there is the highest need for STEM teachers and really well-prepared STEM teaching professionals. So we are seeing now, particularly in middle grades in secondary education, a big push to get those career professionals, those people who have been working in various industries, who are now looking for a career switch. They realize that they want to be an inspiration to young people. They want to teach them some things that they may not find officially in the school curriculum to prepare them for the real world. And we're seeing a big interest in career changers who are coming back to earn those advanced degrees with teacher certification. Because they are able to obtain that degree, they can start at a higher pay grade than just those with a bachelor's degree, and then they can obtain the initial certification as well. So those two areas are the biggest draws in the largest growth that we see in graduate programs in the field of teacher education.
Well, that's interesting because, kids do need inspiration. They need good role models to look up to. I know there aren't a lot of teacher jobs out there. Is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There's
more teachers.
There's a lot of emphasis on the nursing shortage. There's a lot of emphasis on health here in Southwest Georgia. But what is underreported is the really, really large demand for teachers. There's a huge teaching shortage. And we receive calls in our office almost daily for teachers. We have school systems who want to hire our graduates as seniors who haven't even obtained their 4-year degree yet,
right.
But they're offering them jobs if they were to start working even a semester early before they have their degree. And the demand is so large because of a number of factors. To be honest, teaching is a very good salary here in Southwest Georgia, particularly if you have a graduate degree. You can earn upwards of about 40 to 45 to start. And if you were to remain in the teaching field and increment additional years of service, then you would increase your salary to the low to mid 50s, which is pretty good for Southwest Georgia. So it's a very good salary if you wanted to remain here in Southwest Georgia and build a life for yourself and your family. You can do so very comfortably on a teaching salary or being in the education profession. So the salary is a big draw to many people, but we see the shortage being there because it is a tough job. It's hard to go into a classroom of 12-year-olds and try to teach them fractions. It's hard to go into a classroom of 17-year-olds or 16-year-olds and make them care about quadratic equations. So we need teachers who have not just competence in their content area. They know the math. They know the history. That's all well and fine. But we need teachers who can translate that information to a 10 or 12-year-old and see a light or a fire in their eyes when they do so. And that's a difficult job to do. So that's why good teachers, great teachers are in such high demand because you quite literally can change the world with the group of young people who are in front of you. You don't know what genius is sitting in front of you.
Right.
And if you don't have the talents to develop their skills and their natural born genius, then it is wasted.
Exactly. So do you think that this shortage of teachers or this issue in itself is generational? Because now that I'm seeing my generation is more made up of self-starters. They want to start their own businesses. They're business leaders. They want to work for themselves. Do you think that is like a generational issue, or is it just an issue in general?
I think it's been an issue probably since the early to mid 90s. It's been an issue when we've been seeing the numbers decline of those who are interested in traditional teacher prep programs. And that's because as we move more into this generation, there's vastly more opportunities for people to earn a living and to do very well. And as you said, to create their own schedule as self-starters and be able to put their imprint on their job, their focus, their dream, their mission totally and completely and not have to answer to anyone. So that's very attractive to a generation like yourself that is they like to run their own ship. No one likes to be the crew. They want to be the captain. So that's very, very, that's very alluring to them. But you can be entrepreneurial in education. I mean, there is such a room for co-ops and private schools and learning centers. And we're seeing learning pods, especially coming out of COVID. We're seeing a lot of online and virtual schools. We're seeing a lot of tutoring schools and tutoring options that are available that were not available in the past. I just saw a program where a young lady put together a traveling program for kids where she said a lot of the kids do not travel outside of their own hometown, and I want to take them around the country and take them around the world so that can expand their horizons, right?
Well, that's interesting.
And she started that program, and parents enroll their kids and they pay a fee, and she literally takes them on trips in a very safe, manageable way, but she's bringing the world to these kids who may not be able to receive that. So there is room for creativity, there is room for motivation and drive, and let me tell you, there is money in education. Do not think for a second that there is not money in education. So from educational apps to online programs and puzzles to software to games, there is a huge money-making industry around educational games and gaming. So I really want your generation, as you talked about, who are those self-starters who are very creative and smart, start thinking and tapping into this money that is around education. Right. Because there's a lot of it that moves beyond the traditional public school environment, although that's where we would want you to go because that's where the need is. We do understand that you have a different drive, and I've known people who have supplemented their income. For example, we have a very successful alumni who started creating songs around different educational concepts, and she put together CDs and began marketing and selling. So yes, there's a lot of money in education, and there's ways that you can be still tap into that self-starter energy that you guys bring to the table, but you're still able to provide all of the talents and skills that you have in a much larger way to the students who are in your classroom in front of you.
Oh, that's great. I'm speechless right now. That's really amazing. I mean, I have thought about it, but I never really got to sit and think about how many bridges there are in the field of education. And I think that's really amazing, and that's a great message. So to my generation out there, y'all need to become teachers. We will be right back with Dr. Decuir. So, Dr. Decuir, how would a graduate degree equate to a better job or high salary or a job promotion in the education fields?
In education, we are unique in that there's a promotion that's built into the career and salary schedules for educators, and particularly for teachers here in Georgia and in many states across the country, where if you were to earn an advanced degree, you are able to begin earning a higher salary versus someone with simply a bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. So it's beneficial for anyone with a bachelor's degree who is teaching to obtain a graduate or master's degree if they intend to remain in the classroom as a classroom teacher, because it's already included within the fabric of the salary schedules and the promotion systems that they would obtain a promotion. We encourage those who are teachers to come back if they have only a bachelor's degree to obtain that master's degree so that they can begin earning at a higher pay scale. If we have folks who are interested in transitioning from out of the classroom and into becoming a school leader as a principal or assistant principal, then that is a separate either degree program and or certificate, and they can earn additional monies on that salary. If we have someone who's interested in being, as I said, an instructional coach, a graduation coach, if they were interested in moving up the ladder in curriculum and instruction, working in the school system or working here in higher ed as a teacher educator, an advanced degree is going to suit them very well as a graduate program, because not only do they have understanding on a practitioner level, just being in the classroom, and that raw classroom experience is so needed, but what they obtain with the graduate degree is an understanding of theory and research and how theory and research informs practice. So they are able to look at situations that arise in the classroom and think on research-based solutions to what can improve teaching and learning and improve and increase our learning outcomes for students in a very real way. Some of what is done in the school system, in many cases, runs counter to what we see in research as effective methods, right? One of the things I can think of very clearly is recess. Yeah. A lot of times we see recess being either taken away, or we see recess no longer being required. We see recess eliminated for entire days or weeks during the testing season. Everything in research tells us that these kids need a break. Yeah. that you can bring them back to class and you can read another book, they will zone out. You can do more practice problems. You can put them on the computers all day long for 6 hours. It is not going to move an inch or needle on their test scores if those kids do not have regular brain breaks. So you're working against yourself by saying, we're going to take away recess and just put them on a computer and let them practice math questions. That's not going to help them be successful. And you are actually doing more harm than good, because these young people need a break.
Right.
Yeah. So when we have folks who understand how research and theory informs practice, then they can make better and more effective, real decisions that's going to affect the lives of kids every single day. And it's going to affect their interaction and their perspective on school. A kid is not going to want to go to school if he hates school, if he has no break, if he can't relax, there's no downtime, there's no playtime. There should be a time to play and a time to work. But if it's just work for 6 hours a day, a kid is not going to want to be there.
Not at all.
So we need to understand the basics of research and theory and what is effective, and put that into place in schools so that we can have better learning outcomes for our students. And that's what a graduate degree is going to help you obtain if you were to stay within the system and move up in terms of curriculum and instruction.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand being in elementary school, it coming around to like CRCT or milestones and just being so stressed. Why am I stressed at 8? I'm 8 years old. Why am I stressed? I definitely
That's
understand.
a great question.
So what does the school admissions process look like for education?
We have, there's actually two processes that I want to talk about. One is in the graduate school, the education programs are listed with all of the other graduate programs here at Albany State University. So if you were to go to the graduate school, Albany State University graduate school website, you will see a list of all the graduate programs, including education, and you can click on the button to apply. And when you apply, you will see that it's one application where we ask you to list your demographic information in addition to any other schools that you have attended where you have obtained graduate credit. You have to have a minimum GPA. Right now, we strongly encourage everyone to have a 3.0 GPA, but there are some concessions for people who have less than a 3.0. You can be admitted on a provisional basis if you have less than a 3.0 in some cases. So we encourage everyone to go to the ASU Graduate School website and for you to look at the most current application, your demographic information, of course, your degree and your GPA that you earned as an undergraduate, and also the GPA that you earned if you attended any other graduate schools. That's going to play a role. You also have to obtain letters of recommendation, and you have to write a letter. It's an essay. So there is a prompt, and we ask that you submit a writing sample via an essay. We have, that is the general process for seeking enrollment into the graduate school. But in the graduate school, we have advanced degrees that lead to advanced certification, and we have an advanced degree that leads to initial certification. So if you are someone who is a career changer, you are out working at one of the companies or in the industries here in South Georgia, you are working on the base or in other places, and now you realize that you really want to be a math teacher because you are really, really good at math. Math is your jam, but you're not certified. So we have a graduate program where you can earn a master's in secondary education with a concentration in math at the initial certification track. And if you were interested in obtaining initial certification, then there is a second application where you apply to the teacher preparation program, because that is the application that's going to lead to licensure for you to obtain your certificate. So if you are someone who already have your initial certification and you're seeking an advanced certification and an advanced degree, then you would simply apply to the graduate school via the ASU Graduate School website and click on the button that says the School of Education and apply to the programs. But if you are someone who would like to obtain a graduate degree with initial teacher certification so that you can begin your teaching career, or if you've been teaching for a while but you're not certified, then in that program you would also apply to the ASU Graduate School to enter the graduate school, but then you will come see me, Dr. Decuir, and you will get an application to be admitted to the teacher preparation program so that you can obtain your licensure, because those are two different application processes. One leads to the fulfillment of a graduate degree, the other leads to the fulfillment of your teacher certification for licensure. So that's why there are two application processes if you are seeking initial certification.
Thank you. And we will be back with Dr. Decuir with more questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
More questions. Here we go. And we are back once again with Dr. Decuir. We're about to wrap up on a couple of questions. So how does an undergraduate student prepare to attend a graduate school?
They should definitely complete an undergraduate research project. If they can do that as a freshman and then continue doing so until their senior year, one, it's a plus because they do get money for completing an undergraduate research project, but two, they get a lot of experience in collecting, organizing, and presenting research, which is what we do in a graduate school. So in a graduate school program, it's research-based. You're going to read a lot of research, particularly in education. Educational theory and educational research. You're going to have to interpret those texts, sit in a seminar class, and discuss them with other students, and then write a paper or write a critical analysis or complete a poster research project or presentation where you have to present the research. So getting experience in researching, collecting, organizing data, getting experience in articulating research facts and showing how research applies to the real life is going to suit you very well as an undergraduate, and you'll be able to transition into graduate school with no problem because you have strong analytical skills, you have strong presentation skills, you have strong skills in collecting research and articulating research to an audience. So that is what's going to serve you well, not just at a graduate school at Albany State, but you should definitely come to Albany State. But if you were to go, that's the only way. But if you do not attend Albany State, it's a standard across all graduate schools. And Albany State is a wonderful school in terms of its graduate programs, and you can hold that degree up against any other graduate school that's around the country and know that you're going to be held to a degree of academic rigor where we're going to expect that you can read, understand, articulate academic research to an audience, either orally or in writing. So completing an undergraduate research project, absolutely the best thing that I would suggest. In addition, work on your writing and work on your presentation skills, not just for graduation, graduate school, but just in life. So if you're someone who says, I have a personal weakness, I just do not like talking to other people, I do not like presenting, challenge yourself to work on that. Go to the Office of Career Services, go to a lot of their mock interviews, go to a lot of the pitch competitions that they have. College is the place where you hone in on those skills where you find that you are most weakest, and you put in the work to become strong so that when you leave college, you are very competent and confident when you enter your career profession, and specifically in education where you have to talk 90% of the time. You got to get comfortable knowing how to talk to people.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it really goes for anything, not just education. So, I mean, I have to muster up the courage to come on here and speak on the mic every week. So that is definitely some great advice. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
The main highlight that I would add, particularly in teacher education, is that we do have the advanced degree leading to advanced certification. We also have the advanced degree leading to initial certification. That is not very well known. But if you are someone who would like to obtain initial certification to begin teaching and to earn a graduate degree, you can do so at Albany State, particularly if you are in secondary mathematics and if you are in secondary science education. Those areas are in high demand, not just in South Georgia, but across the country. And we can work to get you certified with your master's degree so that you can begin the teaching profession and start at a higher pay scale than some others. And it's just a wonderful program because you're able to complete that in 2 years or less. You can begin teaching and serving our students here in Southwest Georgia or across the state or even across the country, wherever you are. I would say that is a major highlight. In addition, we have a lot of support that is around curriculum internationalization as well as study abroad. So we have some exciting programs at the graduate level and undergraduate level around study abroad. So we encourage those people who are interested, for example, in learning and obtaining bilingual speaking or bilingual communication skills in Spanish or in ESOL. We have professors, we have programs, and we specifically have a program where we are engaging in a study abroad in a Spanish-speaking country. We do that at the graduate level, as well as curriculum internationalization. And we encourage anyone who's interested in either seeking that advanced certification, initial certification, or if you are someone who are working with a group of students and there is a large number of Spanish-speaking students and you want to obtain some bilingual speaking skills, that is something that we do offer at Albany State. And I think that that is what sets us apart, is that we teach all students and we specifically specialize in culturally responsive teaching for diverse learners. And when we say diverse, we mean both cultural and linguistic diversity. So those are some highlights that we have in our graduate school. In addition to being able to complete their graduate degree in 2 years or less, we offer that as a service, as well as the intense advisement that we do only here at Albany State University.
Only at Albany, the unsinkable Albany State University.
Yes. I don't think anyone can top us with the level of personal attention that we give to students with academic advisement.
Not at all.
So those are the highlights of our programs, and we just have a wonderful, wonderful, hardworking, very talented faculty here at Albany State University. And I think that anyone who is here in Southwest Georgia, even across the state, because most of our classes are offered online, will do themselves well if they were to look at Albany State to obtaining their graduate degree if they're in the education field, in a field of teacher ed, most specifically.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Decuir,
You're welcome.
for speaking on the education program and graduate studies. And I just love talking to you. This is a lot of fun.
It has been. I love talking to you too.
Oh, thank you. So that was Dr. Decuir of the Graduate Studies and Teacher Education. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
That's great. I thank you, listeners, for joining us. The Graduate School Spotlight podcast airs every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 92.7 WASU-FM. Tune in as we feature a different graduate program each week. I'm Sydney Pettus, and thank you for listening.